Right after the economic crisis, many people wanted to know exactly where they could ensure security for their funds. Now, aiding on this question and providing you answers for this, we have come together with Cargills Bank to speak on how you could decide on whether Cargills Bank is your most reliable bank. And joining in on today's conversation, we have Mr. Senarath Bandara, the Managing Director and CEO of Cargills Bank.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Senarath, let's get things started off with the most important news about Cargills Bank. So, Cargills Bank has just completed its initial public offering, the IPO, raising approximately about 500 million rupees. Now, why did Cargills Bank actually choose to list onto the Colombo Stock Exchange, especially during this particular time?
Yes, any commercial bank should be listed in the Colombo Stock Exchange. That's the regulatory requirement. So the Cargills Bank was established 10 years back, and as part of the regulatory requirement, we went public this month, rather last month, and it will be trading tomorrow. In fact, we wanted to do the listing during the last couple of years, but due to the country situation, we postponed it a little bit. But despite that, we decided to go on public in the latter part of last year.
So now that Cargills Bank has joined the whole pool of about 24 odd listed banks, listed commercial banks, how would you say are the key factors that differentiates Cargills Bank in comparison to the other banks?
Yes, Cargills Bank is also a commercial bank like any other bank in Sri Lanka. But we are different to other banks from our focus point of view. If I may take you back to the reasons of establishing the Cargills Bank, some years back when the senior officials of Cargill Ceylon visited the rural parts, meeting the farmers, they found out that it is very difficult for farmers to take loans or the financial needs. So that motivated for them to think of having a bank focusing on the farmers, rural sector. So if we look at our vision is to become the most inclusive bank, harnessing the spirit of progress of every Sri Lankan. So our objective is to serve the people who are not in the formal banking sector, mostly the people who are living in rural parts of the country and engage in farming activities. So in that respect, our motive is slightly different to most of the banks. So otherwise, we are into all type of commercial banking activities, but our focus area is rural sector, agriculture and dairy farming. So that's where we are different to other banks in this country.
To ask you a bit more further on the thing that you just mentioned, Mr. Bandara. Now, Cargills Bank, of course, started off initially not as a bank, but as the Cargills Group onto the food and beverage sector of Sri Lanka and onto the farming sector as well. Wherein there and after, Cargills had decided to diversify onto the banking sector, like you correctly mentioned, onto the aid of the farming and the agricultural sector of Sri Lanka. Now, for the June of 2024, Cargills Bank marks its 10th anniversary. Now, if I'm to ask you, Mr. Bandara, to sort of elaborate on the business model of Cargills Bank.
Cargills Ceylon is into many areas, in fact. Cargills Bank is the latest addition to the Cargills Ceylon group activities. So Cargills Bank is completing 10 years in this year, June. So if we look at our business model, our model is hub and spoke business model, not like a conventional bank. We will not have many branches across the country, yet we have the capacity and the infrastructure to serve any customer living in wherever they are in any part of the country. So our hub and spoke model is, we have limited number of branches. Then these branches are connected to the food city. So Cargills Food City is operating as our agency banking. In certain food cities, we have mini banking units. So right now we have 24 branches, 28 mini bank units. Additionally, as I said, all the food cities are operating as our agents. So any of our customer can go to any food city and deposit money, withdraw money. So they can do their basic transactions through the Cargills Food Cities. So in that respect, any of our customers can do banking from wherever they live. On top of that, to supplement this model, we have fully developed digital banking operations, internet banking, mobile banking, and also if anyone wants to open an account with Cargills Bank, they can do it remotely without visiting a branch, basically through the digital channels. And also, we have a mobile unit, mobile vehicle fitted with ATMs and the counters, and this mobile vehicle goes to the rural parts of the country, especially to serve the farmers. So that's the type of business model we have. It's a low-cost model, but at the same time, our customers can reach us through different channels, agency banking operations, through the branch network, through the digital channels, and also we are connected to the common ATM switch of the country. So any of the ATM, we are connected, so they can get their services done through this ATM network access. So that's the difference. So that's our model.
I feel like Mr. Bandara, stemming from Cargills Ceylon itself, providing ease for the consumer has also trickled down onto Cargills Bank as well. Like you mentioned, it's onto the ATMs that are available on Cargills outlets and how you can do your banking facilities and require those from the Cargills banks as well. Along with that, to bring in the digitalization aspect of it as well. Now, as you know, Mr. Bandara, of course, the previous year has been an extremely economic turmoil, not only for the citizens of Sri Lanka, but of course for almost all sectors of business, especially for the banking sector. But however, despite that, now June 2024 marks the 10th anniversary of Cargills Bank, and you have just completed your IPO. It feels like Cargills Bank has been quite stable despite the challenges that it has faced and is quite profitable at the moment. So in your own words, Mr. Bandara, how do you say Cargills Bank has navigated this difficult time?
I would give that credit to my staff. So they are very skillful and experienced, and together with our management styles, we were able to navigate this period reasonably in a successful manner despite the challenges, economic challenges, as well as COVID and lockdown situations. We were able to navigate this period. During the COVID period, we were able to provide the working from home facilities to our staff without many difficulties. So our IT systems and the technology was geared for that, for us to facilitate that requirement very easily. And also during the economic downturn, our staff basically worked with our clients. So since they were very close to our clients, they understand the difficulties our customers were facing and align with that, those things, and facilitated the customers to sort out their financial stress situations. And also during that period, as the management, we anticipated certain things. Accordingly, we allocated our resources to the best possible manner to maximize our resources from one aspect, from the other side to serve our customer better. Especially during that period, we all know that foreign exchange was scarce resource, but we never postponed or say no to any of our importers when there is a import bill settlement. So we manage such requirement quite better. So I must give that credit to my team, especially at our treasury division and the trade division and the relationship management team, that really help us to retain our customer base and also to attract more customers. That really help us to improve our performance as well.
I think the ability that the bank had, of course, to navigate throughout this turmoil period, starting off with COVID and then off to the economic turmoil period as well. Given the fact that Cargills Bank, in the grand scheme of things, may seem like a bit younger of a bank, even though stemming from a much older group, it provides us more as a consumer, more of a confidence to know that this bank has been able to push it through and is currently stable and profitable as well. There are more things that we need to discuss with Mr. Bandara onto Cargills Bank. More on that right of this break. Welcome back. We are currently in discussion with Mr. Senarath Bandara, the CEO of Cargills Bank and of course the Managing Director as well, having a deep dive into the operatings of Cargills Bank. Now, Mr. Bandara, before the break, we were talking on to the business model of Cargills Bank and its journey thus far, the history of how it started, why it started, and how it has been able to retain its position thus far. Now, let's talk a bit about the future. Cargills Bank for the past 10 years has had a solid couple of years, especially for a bank that just started out in 10 years. You've completed your IPO as well. The future may seem quite bright. What are your plans for the bank in the future?
Actually I feel the future is bright for the bank. If you look at our focus is the retail segment and the farming segment. We all know that Sri Lanka is an agriculture-based country, whatever we said. But at the end of the day, food security is key. So people are engaged in agriculture activities, especially about 25% of the populations. So they're quite big. And also if you look at the Cargills Ceylon is a company dealing with or engaging with food. So Cargills, a lot of vegetable farmers, dairy farmers and other sort of farmers who produce their supplies, supply their produce to the Cargills Ceylon. So that is our ecosystem. So we have the opportunity to work with this group. So in a country like us, so when we have the support from the group for us to engage the farmers, then I think that opportunity is very, very, very good and it's very positive for us. When we look at the Cargills Ceylon dairy and the agriculture field officers, they're working with farmers all over the country. So that gives the connectivity for us. So basically we are working with farmers' value chain. So we provide finance to farmers. They supply their produce to the Cargills Ceylon. So their payment is getting into the account maintained with us. So that's the value chain. So we are working very closely with the Cargills field officers and the farmers. So in that respect, so our future is very bright. And also as a bank, we want our customers to use agency banking and digital operations more and more rather than visiting branches or the ATMs. If we go to a food city to do a deposit or a withdrawal, they can do it free of charge. And also during an extended hours. Food city is operating from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So it's a long period and also very safe and secure environment. So that's the convenience we are delivering to our client. So that really helps us to grow our business. And at the same time, if they need to do any other fund transfers or any other operations, they can do it digitally. So for other requirement to meet a manager or to meet a special requirement only, they need to visit bank. So this is in a way very convenient to the customer, and also from the other point of view, it's environmental friendly as well. So they don't need to travel into faraway places. They can do their banking while they are shopping during the week. So that's the kind of model that will really help us if we look at the future to grow our business and also at the same time to serve our customers better.
So better integration, improved efficiency and effectiveness, along with ensuring that the key focus as to why the bank came to be will remain the same.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, Mr. Bandara, early on, when we were discussing on to how Cargills Bank was able to maintain and get through the economic turmoil times and, of course, COVID, you mentioned and gave special thanks to your staff members. Now, of course, it is understood that in any organization, the staff members are what runs their company. No matter what the strategies, no matter what the leads say, if you do not have the necessary and adequate staff to run what you envision for the company, any company could easily fail. And of course, that is not the case with Cargills Bank, because it has been able to stay in the industry for 10 successful years. Now, Mr. Bandara, this might seem like an off question in terms of the banking sector, but in a general aspect of things, The migration of skilled labor is an issue that Sri Lanka is currently facing. Companies have a bit of an issue retaining their workforce, as the workforce might seem that opportunities elsewhere out of Sri Lanka might seem more favorable in terms of domestic opportunities. Now, since Cargills Bank values their staff oh so much, what and how has Cargills Bank been able to retain their skilled employees?
Well, it's a huge challenge retaining skilled employees within the country, not only to the Cargills Bank, not only for the financial industry, but across the country, people are migrating. But on the other side, it gives an opportunity for the younger generation. But of course, to fill those skill levels, there's a time lag, because we'll have to train new recruits, we'll have to train replacements to those positions. There is a disruption, especially in the output. It's a common thing in these days. But as an organization, we take all measures to keep our staff happy, engage, and at the same time empower them. So especially the second layer, third layer, we are giving them the cross-functional opportunities for them to get exposed to, and at the same time we empower them to do things which are beyond their normal working requirement. So that really helps us to get the operation going. And at the same time, we give opportunities for the university interns and recruit trainees. Even if there is no requirement, we do those things. For if there is a necessity, then we can fast-track these trainings to the positions where places are getting vacant. That really helps us to manage our human resources in the past couple of years. So that approach really helps us. But otherwise, it's a challenge as a country. We'll have to address that skill migration. Otherwise, country will lag behind in terms of achieving our objectives as a whole.
Definitely, in a grand scale of things, in the entire industry as a whole, Sri Lanka, of course, is facing that issue. But hopefully, companies such as yours will be able to retain the employees, provide them with the necessary fringe benefits. And of course, as you mentioned, though it provides an opportunity for the younger generations of Sri Lanka, it also provides a training ground that is required as well. So hopefully, Cargills Bank will have a better future with their teams to come as well. Now, Mr. Bandara, if I am to quote the vision statement of Cargills Bank, it is to be the most inclusive bank, harnessing the spirit of progress in every Sri Lankan. It's quite a big of a vision statement. Now, in your own words, how do you think that Cargills Bank is and will achieve this vision?
Well, as the CEO, I am proud to be associated with an institution having such a admirable vision. So the Cargills Bank has the opportunity, so the platform in place, working with the Cargills, as I explained earlier, we can easily reach the rural people and the people, those who don't have accounts in the banking sector, to onboard them into the formal banking sector. In the process, we understand them better than any other institutions because they work with Cargills loans. That visibility, that transparency gives us the confidence for us to support them in financial terms. And also, we work with very far away places, like though we have limited number of branches, as I said, 24 branches, we finance farmers living in the Mahawaya, Ridimaliya. These are very remote locations. Rualwala, that is off Siemalandu, then Hettipola. We don't have branches in these places. What happens is that our hub and spoke model, together working with the Cargills Dairy and Cargills Agri Field Officers, it enables us to facilitate these farmers to get their farming done. So here, financial inclusivity, what I am talking of. And if anyone have any progressive ideas, courage to stand by themselves, then we are there to help them. So living up to that principles, our team is fully geared to support the rural community farmers. I'm pretty sure that in years to come also, we can do a lot in uplifting the rural community and their living standard.
So along with the vision as well, the key objective still remains the same.
Absolutely.
Then Mr. Bandara, as the final question that I have for you. Now, Cargills Bank, of course, is part of the Cargills Group. And Cargills as a whole, as a brand, has been a brand name that has been across many, many households all across Sri Lanka for so many years. From the get-go of when I was small to when my parents were small, Cargills has always been a brand, or rather the brand, that has often been in households. Now this, of course, I feel like gives you a comparative advantage in terms of other banks that are in the sector, as to when that Cargills Group, since I mentioned earlier, Cargills Group is something that has consumer confidence in it. So naturally, as Cargills Group brings in a Cargills Bank, people are much more available and confident in banking with Cargills Bank. Now this, I believe, is a good leverage that the bank would have. In that sense, using this comparative advantage, this position to grow, how have you for now used this value as of current, and how are you all planning to use this affiliation with Cargills Group for the betterment of Cargills Bank?
Yeah, absolutely, you are right. Cargills is a household name. Everyone trusts it. So the trust is very important for a financial institution. Cargills Ceylon has been there for last 108 years. It's not a small period. It's a brand value which huge. So we inherited that brand value and the trust. So that is a plus point for us. So if you look at our infrastructure, our model, it is pretty much integrated with the Cargills ecosystem. We need talk about the hub and spoke model and the agency banking arrangement. So we are basically setting up our banking network through the Cargills Food City network. So Cargills Food City has over 1.6 million customers. That's a substantial customer base. So these customers can be potential customers of Cargills banks. When they visit the Cargills Food City, they can do the banking as well. We offer them convenience, safe, security, and everything. So the Cargills Ceylon provide us this platform. As I said earlier, these customers not only doing the banking through the Cargills Food City, we provide them entire range of product and services. Credit cards, debit cards, these are Visa and MasterCard franchise. Then we provide them import-export facilitation for their trade finance requirement. Then we have a treasury dealing room providing them foreign exchange activities, and we facilitate them inward remittances, and we cater to all the segments. Maybe we focus on the agriculture and the retail banking, but we facilitate SME and the Cargills SME and the corporate banking as well. So all these clients work with the Cargills network. Cargills network has distributors. From the other side, suppliers. Then the small type entrepreneurs. So if you look at the Cargills Ceylon ecosystems, that potential is huge. So from one side, it helps us to deliver the convenience and the safe and secure environment for our customers to do the banking. From the other side, it is an opportunity for us to grow the business. And it is a trusted name, trusted brand, so it is what matters for financial institutions. So I feel that our future is very bright, and working with the Cargills Ceylon will be benefiting not only the Cargills Bank, our all customers as well.
So if you are a person who is currently looking at the next best banking opportunity that you might go into, Cargills Bank would be your viable option. If you are an individual with wanting to find a better savings account, or an SME just about to start up and lift off the ground, or if you are a corporate client looking off to where you can invest on your next TBs or your other bonds that you might find, Cargills Bank would provide you both effectiveness, efficiency and convenience. And of course, if you are a person who has been dealing with Cargills for the past many years, you definitely know your most trusted bank would now be Cargills Bank. Thank you so much, Mr. Bandara, for joining in on today's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, today joining in on the discussion was Mr. Senarath Bandara, the Managing Director and CEO of Cargills Bank. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
All right, then we'll see you next time with yet another intuitive discussion on to helping you with your day-to-day things. This is Viz 24.